When a heavily armed fighter jet suddenly emerges from the clouds outside your cockpit, its wingtip just 60 meters, the length of a bus, from your own wing, and you stare at the 4 coldly gleaming missiles beneath its wings, does your blood freeze in that instant? This isn't a fictional scene from a Hollywood blockbuster, but a real-life aerial standoff in the East China Sea, recently revealed by CCTV's military channel. A Canadian CP-140 Aurora patrol aircraft, operating in the so-called international airspace over the East China Sea, was intercepted by a Chinese Air Force J16 fighter jet. This latest member of the flanker family, painted in gray low-visibility camouflage, demonstrated the Chinese Air Force's capability and resolve with precise and decisive maneuvers toward the uninvited patrol aircraft. Footage released by CCTV clearly shows 2 PL-12 medium-range air-to-air missiles and 2 PL-10 short-range dogfight missiles mounted under the J-16's wings. These armaments are not mere decorations, but tangible declarations of combat capability. The PL-12, China's domestically developed fourth-generation medium-range air-to-air missile, employs active radar guidance with a maximum range exceeding 80 kilometers, and possesses fire and forget capability. Meanwhile, the PL-10 ranks among the world's most advanced close-range dogfighting missiles, equipped with an infrared imaging seeker and exceptional anti-jamming capabilities. With a maximum overload exceeding 60 G, it can withstand the maneuvering of any operational fighter jet. This missile combination grants the J-16 superiority in both beyond visual range engagements and close-range dogfights. Even more impressive is that this complex interception mission was executed solely by a single pilot in the two-seat J-16, with the rear weapons officer seat left vacant. This underscores both the mission's unique nature and the pilot's exceptional skill. In modern air combat, two-seat fighters typically assign flight control to the front seat pilot while the rear weapons officer manages radar, electronic warfare, and weapons systems. For a single pilot to execute such a high-difficulty interception mission in the J-16 requires not only exceptional flying skills but also comprehensive, in-depth knowledge of the aircraft's systems, enabling instantaneous multitask decision-making. Why was the Canadian CP-140 operating in this sensitive airspace? According to official U.S. media reports, the aircraft was conducting United Nations sanctions monitoring operations against North Korea, tracking vessels suspected of violating sanctions. However, when examining the broader strategic landscape across the Western Pacific, it becomes evident that this incident merely reflects the recent expansion of Western military presence around China. As a member of the Five Eyes Alliance, Canadian military operations frequently align with U.S. Indo-Pacific strategy. The CP-140 Aurora patrol aircraft is essentially an upgraded anti-submarine variant of the US P-3C Orion, equipped with advanced radar, sonar buoys, and electronic reconnaissance systems. With an endurance of up to 15 hours and a range exceeding 9,000 kilometers, it can conduct prolonged intelligence gathering along China's coastline, posing a potential threat to China's national defense security. Notably, during this interception operation, the Chinese Air Force deployed both Su-30 MKK and J-16 heavy fighters, a configuration that carries significant implications. Compared to medium or light fighters, heavy fighters possess greater range and endurance. Taking the J-16 as an example, its combat radius exceeds 1,500 kilometers, far surpassing that of Canada's CP-140 patrol aircraft. This range advantage allows the J-16 to engage long-endurance patrol aircraft like the CP-140 for extended periods without frequent fighter rotations. In 2022, a J-10S fighter intercepted a Canadian patrol aircraft of the same model. However, when a single aircraft undertakes such missions, constraints like fuel limitations and pilot fatigue often necessitate multiple waves of fighters to complete the task. The dual fighter configuration not only enables prolonged escort suppression, but also facilitates tactical coordination. One aircraft focuses on surveillance while the other maintains tactical positioning to respond to potential contingencies. From a technical perspective, the J-16 demonstrates multiple advantages in such interception missions. Its advanced active, phased array radar can detect targets hundreds of kilometers away while simultaneously tracking dozens of airborne and ground targets. The integrated infrared search and track system enables target detection even when the radar is silent, significantly enhancing mission stealth and surprise. Furthermore, the J-16's all-glass cockpit and advanced data link systems enable real-time battlefield information sharing with early warning aircraft, ground command centers, and other fighters, forming integrated combat capabilities. Both fighters in this incident carried live ammunition. Against patrol aircraft like the CP-140, which possess virtually no air combat capability, fighter aircraft theoretically need only use their cannons to establish deterrence. However, deploying live ammunition for interception missions reflects multiple strategic considerations. First, it serves as a deterrent against potential third-party intervention. U.S. military aircraft frequently operate in the East China Sea airspace, and carrying live ordnance ensures immediate response capability in unforeseen contingencies. Second, live ammunition itself carries a powerful psychological deterrent effect. As the Canadian pilot later admitted, seeing the gleaming missiles under the J16's wings indeed created unprecedented pressure. Third, this reflects the Chinese Air Force's philosophy of maintaining routine combat readiness, conducting even peacetime interception missions according to combat standards. The J16's performance in this close-range encounter merely epitomizes the routine capabilities of this fighter jet, which has no obvious weaknesses. As the most numerous aircraft in the PLAF's active fleet, with over 400 units deployed, the J16 has established formidable combat capabilities. It inherits the superior aerodynamic design of the Su-27 series while achieving qualitative leaps in avionics, radar detection, and weapon carrying capacity through comprehensive domestic upgrades. Equipped with an active phased array radar, the J16 possesses formidable multi-target tracking and engagement capabilities, even holding its own against stealth fighters. As previously reported by CCTV, the J16 successfully locked onto 2 foreign stealth fighters during a recent escort mission. Notably, the J16 is among the first Chinese Air Force fighters to implement pilot autonomous maintenance, allowing pilots to directly participate in ground upkeep. This significantly boosts aircraft availability and operational flexibility. As the J16 fleet expands, its presence in combat readiness patrols across the Taiwan Strait, East China Sea, and South China Sea has grown increasingly active. In recent years, not only Canada, but also the U.S. Navy's P-8A anti-submarine aircraft, Japan Air Self-Defense Forces F-15J fighters, and Australia's P-8A patrol aircraft have all had close encounters with J-16s in various airspaces. Based on subsequent reports and footage released by these nations, the J16 has demonstrated superiority in most engagements thanks to its outstanding flight performance and advanced avionics systems. From a strategic perspective, the large-scale deployment and routine combat patrols of the J16 reflect a profound shift in the Chinese Air Force's operational doctrine. The Air Force, historically focused on homeland air defense, is transforming into a strategic air force integrating air and space capabilities with both offensive and defensive capabilities. As a key asset in this transformation, the J16 not only handles routine combat readiness duties, but also continuously explores new tactical approaches. For instance, coordinated operations between J-16s and J-20 stealth fighters have become a core component of PLAF training. In such formations, the J-20 leverages its stealth capabilities for forward reconnaissance and penetration, while the J-16, with its greater weapons payload, provides fire support from deeper positions, establishing a complementary, high-low mix combat model. For nations accustomed to conducting close reconnaissance near China's periphery, J-16 formations have become an inescapable reality, a mobile steel Great Wall patrolling the skies over the East and South China Seas. When the J-16 reveals missiles under its wings at a distance of 60 meters, it represents both a tactical interception and a strategic declaration. The Chinese Air Force possesses the confidence and capability to safeguard every inch of the nation's skies.